What job should marketing get done in a company? That is the first question I ask on every single episode that isn't a solo episode. But today, this solo episode, the final episode of season 2, is going to be focused on my definition of marketing. I've always been the asker of the question, have never had to be the answer, but today I answer this question. Now, before we get into it, why does that question matter? How did I get to this question? So I had a leader in the past who would challenge me to say, we need to do more marketing. We're not doing enough marketing. So for me, I started to think, what do they mean that we're not doing enough marketing? Then it hit me, wait, they likely define marketing a lot different than I define it. They might define it as all executionary. Post on social media every day, all of these things that are mere tactics, mere actions that are important. But for me, I don't see that at all as what marketing is. There's no execution tactic in the word. It's marketing. So what's that even mean? That kind of got me onto this quest. I was there when I started this podcast to say, okay, they have a definition of marketing. I have a definition of marketing. Let me go out in the world and try to actually get the best definition, the proper definition of marketing. So every guest I've asked, probably 30 plus so far in this podcast, they give me different answers, slightly different. So then I take that in I shape, update, and improve my model of what job should marketing get done. And the answer will change for every company, but I truly believe that there is a definition that if we all had and we could speak the same language, we'd be able to move faster and farther. So today, I'm going to answer that question and more on this episode, the final episode of season 2. Welcome to On Marketing, a show where we explore marketing's first principles, mental models, and personally my favorite, contrarian takes. This is a space where thinking differently about marketing isn't just encouraged, it's the rule. My aim is not to tell you what to think about marketing, it's assisting you in improving how you think about marketing and probably life. It's June 3rd, 2024. I'm Jordan Ogren, a marketing strategist by day and a podcast host by night. Today we're going to get into, as I said, my definition of marketing. Why does the definition matter? What is my definition? And kind of some leading into how the search will continue. I'm on this journey forever, and that will lead me into talking about season 3 and all of the cool stuff on the horizon for this podcast. And all of it is due to you. Thank you for being here, for listening, for engaging with the podcast, because without you and me on this journey together, there is no content. I'm not making this to sell you anything. I don't have anybody on here to sell you anything. It's purely a journey of improving, mastering how we think about marketing. So are you ready to get in? Before we do, please subscribe to the newsletter to get new episodes every week sent directly to your inbox. In 3, 4, 5 other quick insights, I've recently updated the newsletter. So please click that link in the first line of the show notes to join the newsletter to get the podcast right when it comes out. This is a reminder, if you're watching, you can listen to this on Apple, Spotify, all of those. And if you're listening but you want to see my beautiful mug, you can head over to YouTube to watch. And finally, for the legal department, all opinions shared in this podcast are individual views of the host and guests, not representing their employers or associate organizations. This content is intended for informational purposes and should not be considered professional marketing guidance. Listeners act on the information provided at their own risk. I'll see you on the other side. We're on the other side. First thing we need to talk about is, why do definitions matter? I open with why I think they matter. You can argue it's just semantics. It doesn't matter my definition of marketing if I can create really good copy or I can figure out my audience to a level that my competitors can. I don't need to know what marketing is. And yes, that is true. I think many great marketers have an incomplete, or they haven't spent any time defining it. I think that's true. I think there's a lot of people living great lives that haven't thought about living a great life. But there's far more people who have thought about living a great life, define what that means for them, and then they go and achieve it. So I was just on the phone with my grandma last night, and we talk a lot about religion, Christianity. I'm a follower of Christ, so there's a lot of those topics that we have. And one of the things that constantly comes back is I'll challenge her. I'll bring something up. Grandma, why does my church dislike homosexuals? Grandma, why does this? And the funny thing is she'll always have a unique answer because she goes to the source. She goes to the scripture and grabs the real source, whether that's Hebrew, Greek, and tries to wrestle with it. And my grandma's point, or my grandma's reasoning for this, is if you're going to base your entire life on a religion, you better have a good understanding of that religion and not just take what the pastor, what the online guru says, but actually go to the source, actually dig and try to find out what is following God for me. What is that? So I think on a very much of a smaller scale, I think marketing is the same. There's many of us, you, me, that are in marketing, that are hopefully going to do marketing for the rest of our careers, but we're not spending any time defining it or even thinking about what is it today and what could it be tomorrow. And I think that's a huge miss. When I talk to someone who has a very crisp understanding of what marketing is, it may be different than mine. It could be, in my own opinion, wrong, but they're able to act out, they're able to do marketing that is far better than somebody that just has a lackadaisical idea of what marketing is. Oh, I listened to this one podcast. This is what it is. Okay, you're basing your entire career on what one person, I was going to say man, which likely would be, person says, rather than going to the source, rather than digging, doing your work to truly understand what is marketing? How do I define it? And then how do I actually achieve that? So I think the definition matters. If you don't think that, please exit the pod now. But the rest of this podcast will be all about the definition, working through how I see it, how I think it's maybe evolving, talking about good and bad marketing and all that. So if you're with me, that definitions matter. Here is my definition of what the job of marketing is. The job of marketing is to increase revenue by generating progress for the customer and organization through strategy, decision-making, and execution. Put blankly, I believe marketing equals progress with revenue as an outcome. Early on, I ran into this concept, this theory called jobs to be done theory. And that got me onto this concept that customers don't buy products, they buy progress. So I don't buy the nail gun or whatever that may be so I can go and nail a painting to my wall. Sure, that is the practical, but the job or the progress is to make my room better, make my living room more homely. So that instantly got my mind on to thinking, ooh, marketing is about understanding what progress our customers trying to make, also the company, in merging those two, helping both make progress with revenue as the outcome. Another way to think about it, and this is where I first landed, was that marketing is change. If you think about marketing, a lot of it is trying to change people slightly to either view your worldview or slightly change their, whatever it may be. A lot of marketing is change, trying to get someone to move from here to there, to click the conversion button. But I think change is too broad, and I don't know if that was effective in helping me actually do better marketing. But when I realized that marketing is all about progress, it helps me understand then what is my customer trying to make progress on. And rarely is it what you think on the initial thought. Rarely is it that. Interviewing them, talking to them, you'll get deeper to realize the progress is much different. So maybe by creating content is one of my superpowers. So maybe by creating humorous, entertaining content, we help our customer make progress because at 5, 6 p.m., they just want to tune out from work. They're CTOs or whatever, and they just want to enjoy themselves. So this funny day in the life of a CTO video actually resonates, brings them progress, and hopefully brings the company progress as well because it's positioning itself in a good light. And then at the end of the day, hopefully, there's a transaction. So revenue is introduced into it. So you might be thinking, well, progress is also pretty ambiguous. And you're right. Progress is quite ambiguous. But when we think about progress, think about going from a lower state to a higher state. Think of innovation. We went from horses to cars. Now you instantly start to realize with progress or with innovation comes more problems. Not just that though, not everybody thinks progress is positive. I didn't know that. That was new to me, but as I've researched innovation, progress, I've realized 1700s, 1800s, there were so many people that were against progress. They thought that introducing the car or doing cities or whatever would ruin civilization. They thought we're good today. Sound like a lot of marketers, or I should say those who think they're marketers, right? They don't want to keep getting better, going from the lower state to the higher state, saying, okay, we could post on social with our company page. Doesn't work anymore. We need to get the individuals involved. Well, Let's not do that. Let's not shake the boat. Well, that's the whole thing. You're not making progress for your company. You're not positioning them in a better light. So I think when you're done with your job as a marketer, you should have helped both your customers make progress in the natural sense of using your product, buying it, yada, yada, but you've also left your company in a better state than when you came. Not only revenue-wise, but also with systems, with processes, with ways of thinking, so you permeate the entire organization. I recently talked to Isaac Holmgren, hopefully that's the name. I won't link it in the show notes because I'll forget. But anyway, he talks about how marketers need to change the organization in a positive way. That's what I'm saying too with progress. So now that you have my understanding that the job of marketing is to increase revenue by generating progress for the customer and company through strategy, decision-making, execution. You could add collaboration in there, I guess. But from that, that's how I judge good and bad marketing. An example that's current right now, hopefully this isn't current if you're listening to this in years, but Canva did this wrap routine when they were launching Canva Enterprise. And I recently wrote about it in my newsletter saying that was bad marketing. Not just because I think it was cringy, and it was, but because it didn't help anybody make progress. Again, I have to define good and bad marketing all based off that definition. If I think good marketing is sexy, flashy, gets attention, gets conversation started, well, the really good top model running down the street naked, that's good marketing. No, it's not. That's bad marketing. Getting attention is not the key. Attention is the key. It's vital. It's a lifeblood of companies of marketing, attention. But getting conversations started for the wrong reasons isn't good marketing. And that's what Canva, their wrap routine did. It got whole conversations about how Hamilton influenced this, how yada yada, and it's just not good marketing. So it's another reason why having a definition is very valuable, because without it, you don't know how to define good and bad marketing. As we just talked about, good marketing is helping the customer make progress. Bad marketing is the opposite. It focuses less on the customer's progress and solely on the company's progress. It's an ad or a podcast that just reeks commission breath. You learn little from it besides how much you need their crap. It's almost always company focused and brings little value, or in my terms, progress. So easily able to define good and bad marketing based off that progress point. And I think that's really important. However you define it, it's going to allow you to have a better filter for good and bad marketing. If you're a manager, if you're somebody who's leading a marketing team, this podcast isn't for you, as I'm an IC, but still an individual contributor. Still, you can use your definition to talk to those below you of why you want them to rewrite this, recreate it, rather than just saying, it doesn't hit for me, doesn't work, make it sad, make it better. Rather than that, you have a definition to say, how is this helping our customers make progress? And then they say, what progress are our customers trying to make? And then boom, you have a whole exercise to go and define the progress that your customers make. Anyways, long way of saying that without the definition, it doesn't matter what's going on. You're going to be swayed in whether it's good or bad, should we do it or not. But having a clear definition of what is marketing and then applying it to the company you're working in or the companies that you consult with or whichever, that is when you can really bring true value and true progress to that organization. Rather than going on and on, I'd love for you to comment back, find me on LinkedIn, send me an email, whatever it may be. Give me your definition. How do you currently define it? Because I'm going to continually update. It's an essay that I wrote back on December 18th, 2023 about my definition of marketing. I'm only going to keep improving it with my guest answers and hopefully your answers if you want to share. So again, share any definition you have, even if it's your first definition ever, you've never done it. I'd love to hear how you think about marketing and how maybe I can update and improve my definition. The final part of this podcast is all about that the search continues. Just because I have I wouldn't even say a great definition, but just because I have a definition doesn't mean I'm done. If anything, it means I want to keep searching, keep adding on to it, chiseling away to get to the essence of what marketing is. And that's something that I hope you stay with me on this journey. Season 3 is right on the horizon, and it's one of the seasons, I think you almost have to say this with every season, it's one of the best seasons that's come out yet. I'm joking, but me and my wife were recently watching a show, and every time it was like, this episode is the best. We're up in the ante. But seriously though, I'm only hitting my stride right now with podcasting. Main new update that's going to happen in season 3 is we're going to weekly. Hold me to it. I want to go weekly so you can get value quicker rather than only 2 episodes a month. There might only be 3, 2, 1 a month that resonates with you if I'm doing it weekly. So I want to go weekly, give you more options to engage with those that are relevant. And for the lifers, for those that always listen to every episode, thank you so much. There'll be more repetition so you can kind of keep it top of mind versus bi-monthly. It's just so long, and if I put in my own episodes as well, it's just difficult for me, get traction with listening, both from a value point of view, but also building the podcast to a wider and a larger base. So hopefully more can get value from my search, from my journey to figure out what the hell is marketing and how can we do it a little bit better, or how can we think better about it so then we can do it a little bit better. The first episode of season 3 will be coming out next Friday, which is June 14th, and that is going to be with Matt Froelich, which brings tons of insights, podcasts, content, and social, and he's a local Green Bay, Wisconsin, a marketer, which is really cool. I haven't talked to a ton of local marketers, but season 3 actually opens and closes with 2 guests from this area. So that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to just keep making it better, this podcast. And I'm also looking forward to hopefully eventually releasing a new season, a new show format called Friends of the Show. I've recorded 4 episodes so far, but it's where I bring old guests back on, or maybe even just friends that have never been guests, and they come and talk about life, marketing, politics, God, all the stuff that truly matters, and for me, I think leads to better thinking, which just results in better marketing typically. So please stick around for that. That should be coming out in around October 11th or so. I kind of framed it like I wasn't sure, but no, it's happening. It's a way for me to take off the rapid or the constant questions of what is marketing, which is useful. But after 3 seasons, I wanted to pause, have the friends come back on, talk what's changed in their minds, what stayed the same, all of that, and then come forward with season 4 in 2025. It's crazy to say that. It's already almost there. We're in halfway through 2024 already. But that is where the podcast is currently at and where it's currently going. Some big things that I wanted to just share from season 2 that I really took away was so many insights around social and SEO. I think that was one of the cruxes, the fact that SEO, social, some of these things are changing so rapidly with AI that it's almost impossible not to keep learning about it, not to be surprised with a new piece of insight or there was just I don't know what you would call it, a leak of information from Google. Boom. Now my podcast's already behind. So that is something that I really enjoy learning about. But in the future, my goal is to interview these individuals and have them on quicker. So I don't know if you caught, but most of my guests on season 2, the episodes were recorded 5, 3, 4 months ago. So not much has changed, but a lot has changed. So a goal of mine is to get that down to 3 or 4 weeks. So then when I conversate with someone, I can quickly release their episode and you can hear their thoughts in this moment versus half a year or a quarter later. And that's why another reason to go weekly, to just increase that. I think one of the big wins that I got, which is funny because I think all guests would say positive things about your show, but one of the guests on season 2 was Balaji, and he is somebody that I look up to for show running, for marketing, for creating compelling shows, and he said we had something here. And that was that spark, that was that seed that really kept me going throughout season 2 when I was way behind on my editing. I had 1.5 million other things to do, but I knew that hopefully you'd get some value, and I got so much value from pushing through. So thank you, Balaji, for that spark of hope, because I do truly believe as well that this is a unique podcast, a unique approach to it. And that's not just me trying to get sponsorships or whatever, which would be sweet, but it's to say that this is going to keep continuing. This is episode 41 in the entire podcast. I break it up with seasons and episodes, but this is number 41. We're going to get to 141. We're going to get to 241, 500, 1,000. So please stick with it. Share how I can make it better for you. If you have insights, if you want to talk about marketing, DM me, send me an email. We'll get you on this podcast. I'm always looking forward to talking to the Seth Godins and the Jordan Ogrins that have insights, but they just aren't on that platform. I'm interested in both, preferably the Jordan Ogrins. That's because I love myself. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, if you have some thoughts, if you have something in marketing around that you want to share on this podcast, you think I could learn from you, please, again, message me somehow. I'd love to have you on. And that brings us to the end of season 2. It was a journey. It was a joy, but we are just getting started. This is mile 1 of the marathon. We got 25.6, whatever it is, to go. Please stick around. Stay with me. You're going to see me giving it my all. If you're on the YouTube right now, you can see I'm sweating. I'm hot. It's a warmer day in Green Bay, but I'm amped up. I'm convicted trying to bring the best insights to continually get better myself, but really the goal is to help you on this journey as well. So thank you for being here. So long. Till next time.